Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Great Divide podcast. Remember, get over to the website to get all your episodes, thegreatdivide1776.com. Today, my special guest today, is Ben Baker. Ben is an American Navy vet. He's a patriot who loves our country, believes in the Constitution, and he's also the host of the Ben Baker Show, which is awesome. If you're a like-minded patriot, you got to check it out. Welcome, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's thanks for having me here. I'm really excited. Just to meet with other patriots that feel the same way as I do. It's just it's a good feeling. It gives me confidence in America. So
it's great that knowing that there are other people like us out there, and I'm meeting so many other people who are doing these podcasts and radio shows, and it's amazing. And there's so much for us to dive into. It's like, where do we start with everything that's going on?
I totally get it. I feel the same way. I wake up in the morning and it's a new headline smashing me in my face. And of course, I run multiple businesses. I'm very, I grew up, very poor and, built my way up to where I'm at now, but I'm super successful and busy. But, man, I can't I feel like I have to say something about this stuff. And the funny thing is, I'm recognizing that across the nation. So there's tons of patriots out there that feel just like you and me. They're pissed, and it's waking people up, and they're getting into this stuff, and they're wanting to speak out, and they're using their phones, they're doing Instagram lives and all that, and they're just trying to vent about all these crazy things that are going on that back in the day would have been highly illegal and punishable. And it's just like, I trust me, I get it. I'm just like everybody else. So,
I mean, the main reason I started the podcast was because Facebook kept putting me in the Facebook gulag for just a different opinion. We're not talking conspiracy theories, just a different opinion. And that's not allowed. Now you're in Facebook jail for 30 days. Well,
absolutely.
You know what? Now you can't put me in Facebook jail because there are platforms where I'm not going to be censored talking about what I want to talk about. So,
right. Yeah.
Well, Ben, you're a Navy veteran, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So right there in the military right now, we have so much going on. I mean, I watched today, there was a headline that they were talking about that there's a military base in Alabama. I believe it's a Navy base. I'm not 100% sure what they said, but they're requiring proof of vaccinations on that base, which I find interesting because if one base is doing it, wouldn't all the bases be doing it?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is, I think that they're probably using that as a test site to start it off there. And then they're going to go. And if everybody's not really fighting against it, they're going to push it across everybody. But here's the thing. In the military, when you sign up and you join the military, you're literally signing over your life to the government for a period of time, whether it's 4 years or, if you're extending or, re-upping. And during that time, the government literally owns you. You're like a piece of property to them. And so, when we first go in to boot camp, and I probably could be shot with, this vaccine and I'd be fine or whatever it is. But the thing is that when you go into the military and you're going through boot camp, they actually walk you in almost like corridors, and they have these little things that come down off to the sides like arms, and they push them against both of your arms, and they shoot you with multiple injections. And so you get about 30 to 40 vaccinations within probably 10 minutes, not even that really. It's more like probably 5 minutes. Wow. And so, we're all juiced up with whatever they gave us, whatever it is, we don't even know what it is because it's not our right to know, right? We're all pretty much, we're stuck under the military. And again, I'm not talking bad about the military because I'm a patriot. I serve my country. I would gladly give my life for this country and the freedom for the people in America. But yeah, it's a very crazy thing that, yes, they can force in military people to have this vaccine, regardless if it's, my body, my choice or any of that stuff. You don't really have a choice when you're in the military. So I feel sorry for a lot of the people that are just going to have to get it. And even if they really, truly don't want it, and they're possibly in fear of it, because there's a lot of talk out there, and yes, there's probably a lot of misinformation and stuff out there, but there's a lot of good information out there too, and it's stuff that's actually verifiable, or it's news where people actually have died from this thing. They actually it actually is killing some people. It's causing a lot of health problems. The Johnson & Johnson one that came out, even the mainstream media, put out the fact that that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is causing some kind of breakdown in it basically creates a sickness or an illness that attacks your nervous system. And so, it's wild that stuff's going on. But, I think people still need to have a choice. That's what freedom's all about, is Absolutely. To have the choice on whether you do something or not,
That Johnson & Johnson vaccine, didn't they pull it out of circulation and use for a little while, and then they brought it back?
Because
like
there was people.
Right,
so
right. I mean,
that's why they pulled it. They're like, oh, well, I guess even at 4% or whatever it was a low number. Still, do you want to? You have a higher chance of surviving COVID than you know what I'm saying? Like, it sounded a little weird. It's a little weird, It
is.
And then let's not get me started on the fact that they got this massive push for the pokey, the ouchie, or whatever they call it, the Fauci ouchie,
the ouchie, Fauci ouchie,
yeah,
fire
the
Fauci.
Ouchie. I try to say it fast enough so that the censors don't pick me up. But but yeah, we have this big massive push, and the Biden administration, everybody's calling all these people and these youngsters and these kids and Hollywood and everybody, and they're giving away money here in California. And it's a funny fact is, like, my neighbor across the street won like $50,000 because he got a vaccination.
Really?
Right? Yeah, he was the only one in Northern California to win it. It was my neighbor across the street. And I'm like, well, that's weird. He goes, yeah, I figure, I got to leave my son some money. So if I'm going to die, I'm not going to
funeral expenses.
And he really did. He truly gave him the money. He gave his son most of the money and stuff. And he was just like, I got to leave him something, and I figured I'd take the chance. And, he got lucky on that, but a lot of people didn't. And, the way they're running things out here in California is just absolutely radical. The governor's radical. And, you're giving away $1.5 million to like 10 people as a raffle kind of thing. Right.
Right.
The whole lottery that they were doing out here.
Yeah, I'm in the blue.
Push. How can it not make you feel like something weird's going on? Right.
Right. Listen, I'm in the blue bubble of New York, and we got the Fuhrer, Cuomo, and he's right on board with it. Between he wants to do mandatory vaccines, vaccine passports, which they already have, the Excelsior pass.
Right.
It hasn't affected me in any way so far, but he wants to give $15,000 checks to illegal aliens. I mean, it's raise our taxes, and he's out harassing and touching women, and nothing is happening.
It's hypocrisy at its finest, and it's never been more apparent and in everybody's face, right? Like, they literally can tell you. I swear, I don't know if you ever read the book 1984 by George Orwell. It's a great book. It's literally very Orwellian.
Literally, my wife, I'm not even kidding, right now is doing the audio version of that book and tells me you have to either read it or listen. She's big into listening to it. She's literally doing it right now. She was listening to it last
It's literally
time.
what's happening. I mean, in that story, a lot of the people, and again, when he wrote this stuff, it was science fiction, but it's actually like becoming reality now, where they're actually, people are believing things, even though they're seeing the truth with their own eyes. They are experiencing it. It's like right in front of them, and they're telling them, don't believe what you see. Don't believe your eyes, right? And it's to see that happening in today's America, Biden's America. It's unbelievable. So,
I always say, believe nothing what you hear and half of what you see, and I've always said that. But now it just holds true in so many ways, and things that even maybe I thought were a little conspiratorial in a sense have been proven that I've seen to be reality. maybe Alex Jones's tinfoil hat wasn't on as tight as we thought it was on. I don't know.
And it's funny that you say that stuff because I've never been a conspiracy guy. Like I've always been like, oh no, I didn't follow any of the QAnon stuff. Like I'm a an American independent. I used to be a Democrat, and then I saw how things were going. It's funny because I was a Democrat, but I woke up, I got educated, right? And then I was like, oh my God, like this is totally the wrong stuff. This is not right. I got to get out of this. And so I became an independent. And the reason why I became an independent, I was actually going to be a Republican and a conservative. But because I live in California, if you put that on your paperwork, they target you for audits. So, and believe me, it happens. Like I talked to all my buddies that were doing that. They're like, dude, I switched over to Republican. I'm getting audited like crazy and all this stuff like that. I'm like, what? Yeah, they love making lists and they go after the people that are on the list. It's very Nazi-like, like that's the kind of stuff that's happening. They're doing Nazi stuff. And then they're calling other people Nazis, right?
Right.
All in the name of good, like you're doing the bad stuff the Nazis did, but then you call other people Nazis to point everybody that way, right? And the danger that's happening in America is that so many people are just following that stuff blindly.
Yes.
They're following it. And they're not questioning it. You should always, if you're smart, you should always question
everything.
What's going on. You should question everything.
You have to question everything. I mean, they're going to send people door to door trying to find out vaccine statuses. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Gestapo, man.
Yeah. Are they sending people door to door? Like, do they already have a list of people they know aren't vaccinated, or are they just blindly going door to door to see who's going to tell them they're vaccinated, who's going to tell them they're not vaccinated? I'm not going to tell you anything.
If they have a list, they're not going to tell you. If they have a list, they're not going to tell you because they don't want everybody to know that. And the other thing is that if they do have the power to go door to door like that, well, then why can't we go door to door to find out who actually voted for Joe Biden? How come we can't go door to door to find out, like there's so many things that we could cure with that. You know what I mean? If we really do have that power to do that, then there's a lot of things we could do to help people. We could help inner cities with education. We could help all kinds of stuff, but yeah, they don't want to do that. If it's against their agenda, they don't want to do it. And if anybody can see it, and anybody who has eyeballs, they can see that there's a clear agenda out there. It's not a conspiracy, guys. It's just facts. It's just stuff that you're seeing. You're seeing the news. If you see that the news favors Joe Biden and they're giving him all these softball questions and they're celebrating when the man gets an ice cream, not the problem. 16 cents on my barbecue. Oh, it's incredible. Like I sit there going, man, they would have roasted. They did roast Trump when he did that kind of stuff, Everything Trump. They're like, oh, you're a Trumper. No, I believe Trump did a good job. I wasn't a huge fan of everything he does, but he's human. He's not perfect, and he doesn't admit it, and he doesn't have to be too. Because here's the thing. In America, you have the right to be free, believe in what you want to believe in, and do what you really want to do. Be you, right? Like that's the whole point. As long as I'm going to get a little bit touchy here, okay?
Touch away.
I'm going to touch away on this, okay? Not like Biden, but I'm going to touch away on this. So what's happening is you have people that they say, oh, America's racist. America's racist. America is not racist. We have racist people in America. We have I'm sure there are bad cops out there and they're doing bad stuff, right? Like, sure, you can fix and weed out a lot of these situations, but guess what? You have the right to be racist. I hate to say it that way and as clear as possible, but that person has the right to be a racist. It's taking those racist feelings and turning them into hate crimes and taking action on those feelings and doing bad things. If you do bad things and you do racist stuff to people and you're doing hate crime stuff, then you deserve to be locked up and punished and all that stuff. I totally believe that.
Absolutely.
But the fact is, if you live in America and you truly, truly are free, then yes, you are free to believe in, we have people that believe in the devil. We have people that, we have people that we obviously believe in God. We have people that don't believe in God. We have a lot of different views out there. And that's what makes America great is that we do have a free country. But every time they come out with these new things, they're trying to clamp it down, lock it down, force their views on people. Like you said, with the critical race theory and stuff, especially like in the military, they're coming with that, obviously. And you probably can even say something.
They already are.
Oh, totally.
And a critical race theory. It should be conspiracy race theory. I mean, if this whole CRT nonsense in the
It says
1619
theory
project,
right in
it's
the word.
theory. It's based off nonsense. It's not
Whose
based
theory?
on facts.
Right?
You're right. New York Times in their 1619 project with a bunch of idiots that wrote some essays and poets. Great, you can write essays and poems. You're consider yourself an intellectual. You're not going to rewrite history based on what you think the history
Don't get me
is.
started on the New York Times, man. They are commie central. Like
there is. You want to talk about the New York Times, and there is a great book. I'm almost done with it. Alex Marlowe from Breitbart News, Breaking the News.
Yeah.
The work he put into that book to expose all the connections, the New York Times, and the connections of the different presidential administrations, Obama and Biden. It's an eye-opening book. I tell everybody grab that book.
I'm gonna have to check that out because it's absolutely bonkers. What's really crazy is that you have a lot of business. I don't know if you've noticed this yet, especially in this last couple of months. We have seen a communist push like we've never seen before. We have tons of celebrities out here coming and they're saying, "Oh, I'm for communism." Jackie Chan came out recently. I want to be a part of the CCP. Like John Cena. His crap. You know what I mean? Like, there's this huge push, and you got New York Times totally trying to downplay the Cuban stuff, which don't get me started on that, but. They're anti-flag. The flag's very offensive, and blah 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 blah.
So everything you just said, I want to break a couple things down there because I want to get into some of it. Because so let's take Hollywood and the celebrities like John Cena, and he learned his Chinese and he's bowing down to the CCP. Absolutely. Well, because the Chinese Communist government has so much influence on these celebrities who are making films. And if they don't, their films will not be seen in communist China. Correct. Therefore, they will lose that revenue from communist China. Correct. So they have to bow down to communist China. He wouldn't be making apology videos recognize Taiwan as a country, I believe it was. Right. And he had to apologize for that. And everybody, China has too much influence on things that go on in this country. Well, they're
using it as a weapon. They're using their money as a weapon. It's a new type of warfare. It's not being fought with bullets. It's being fought with information, control of media, and money. Who can I buy? Who can we send in? They open up these borders and people flood in through the southern border. And you have people from China spies and all kinds of stuff that funnel in through there. I don't care who you are. You can call it a conspiracy, whatever you want. There's all types of people from all different parts of the world are flooding in through the southern border. That's just the way it is.
And they said over 70 countries.
They're infiltrating our schools and all that stuff, right? And so now then eventually they become teachers and all these things, and they're teaching your kids, without behind your back, without you even knowing, a lot of this crazy left-leaning, agenda stuff, right? And it's apparent because just look at the youth now. Like they totally are brainwashed, and they believe that they're fighting for something amazing, which is socialism, and it's not. Socialism is not amazing because we have Cubans that are actually telling you it's not right now. Like they're living it. And they always will try to turn it around and spin it and say, oh, well, we want a different kind of socialism, blah, 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 right? They got their heads so far up their butt. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
You have Cubans in the street flying American flags.
Correct.
You have people in Hong Kong protesting, waving American flags, and they're being told by our now ridiculously run federal government just recently to Cubans, well, don't take to the Florida Straits because you're not welcome here. You will not come to the United States because obviously they know when they do come here, they're going to register as Republican at some point, and they're not going to be the Democratic voting base, where
Absolutely.
the southern border that doesn't exist, millions of people, it was like in June, 150,000 people came in at least. And they're all at some point going to be registered Democrats and have driver's licenses. And like you said, infiltrate our schools and infiltrate our economy and drive prices up.
Exactly. And that's what, again, to get back to the same topic here, China is using their money as a weapon. And so if you think about it, it's really smart.
Yes.
You buy off all these certain politicians, you buy off, actors and all these different people, and you fund a lot of money into these places, Nike and all that, right? Of course, they don't want to lose that money. They want to keep their money going and all that stuff. So they're going to go and toe the line, and they're going to go, CCP and all that stuff, right? But they don't understand that the more they do it, the more they're converting slowly. Okay, it's going to happen slowly, and they're smart. They're doing it slowly. It's a long game.
Money is the best right now. The power of money is the best weapon in warfare. I mean, they're even buying meat processing plants.
They're buying our land. They're buying tons of land up too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
our farmlands. Why are we allowing our farmlands to be bought up by these other countries? Like, does that make any sense?
No.
It's because they want to control the food. Eventually, if you control the food, you control the water, you control the energy, you control everything, then eventually you control the country, right?
Yes.
And then of course, if you're paying and funding all of these people in very high positions, you're funding Hollywood, you're funding these politicians. Of course, they're going to sell us out because they want to be on the top of that socialist pie, right? Like that, or the pyramid, if you will. Yeah. Everybody else at the bottom is going to suffer, right? And people might think, oh yeah, Biden, he got me that $10 an hour, $15 an hour, $20 an hour. Let's say he got you $50 an hour. Yeah. That doesn't mean anything when they jack up inflation. Then that money becomes worth less. So if anything, you guys got a pay decrease, not an increase. Right. It looks like an increase for the dumb, layman. Of course, they're going to believe that it's a pay increase, but it's not. You're actually getting a pay decrease, and it's going to continue to decrease as long as they're in power. There has never been a greater separation between the rich and the poor. The middle class is almost nothing. There's almost really not a middle class. They keep talking about a middle class. Really, there's not even really a middle class anymore. It's now poor and rich. Okay. And it keeps going that way and getting smaller and smaller because of the Democratic Party. They say they're doing these things, then they do the exact opposite. And people buy into it because they feel like they can believe them, that they can trust them. They get a weak-looking old man to get up there and say some few nice words, and I'm going to unify everybody, and then I'm going to kill 15,000 jobs on my day one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, it's actually happening. It seems crazy and wild, but that's exactly what they're doing. That is their game.
It is their game because like you said, you could pay someone $50 an hour, but then when you're taxing the hell out of them and then you're raising product costs, I mean, to go in ahead of lettuce doubles in prices. So I just had
lumber. Like 800% higher than it used to be. Like you can't even build stuff now.
I know. Plywood around by me.
Why don't they want you building stuff? Because in the future, they will own everything. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy.
Right. They want that too. They want to destroy the suburbs, the Democrats. But so I just had a Cuban American citizen on the show the other day, and he came here when he was 14 years old with his family. He still has boots on the ground there, family. Matter of fact, one of his stepfather's brother works for the government, and he was one of the few people around that had internet on his phone and giving them information. Right now, the median income for a Cuban citizen is between $19 and $25 a week, I believe, or a month.
Probably a month, because if you look at Venezuela, you get $6 per month. Right. And that's your income. That's your universal income for them to own you and basically be in power over you. And and people cannot survive on that. In Venezuela, $6. They can buy one cheeseburger and a soda, and that's supposed to last them, right?
Look at the prices of everything.
You still have to have a job, just like you do in capitalism, right? Right. Like, you're not going to get these fat checks and all of a sudden you don't have to work anymore. That's not how this works. If nobody works, then what's going to happen? Production of everything's going to decrease. Food,
Right.
delivery, everything. Like it's all going to drop, and then we'll have mass starvations and massive amounts of crime. If you can't afford to feed your family, where do you go to get food? Your neighbor.
Desperate people do desperate things. That's
right.
That's
you're going to go to your neighbors. You're going to rob your neighbor for the last bit of food they have, so you can feed your daughter or feed your children. Right. So that's what's happening over there, and it's scary. It's terrifying. Like they've got people are dying in the streets. They're dying of starvation. Like it's not a pretty place that's so much fun and everything. And if it is, if you truly believe it is, you need to go there. And I'm talking to you socialists, American socialists, please take your stuff, take your laptops down there and see how long you get to keep that laptop.
Right. I was communicating with a friend of mine in Havana yesterday over Facebook Messenger. He's a cigar roller in the Hotel Comodoro there in Havana, and I messaged him a couple days ago, and he didn't respond. But then he came back and he said the internet was off and now it's back on. He has internet where he is in Havana, but it's sporadic because they keep turning it off, obviously because they don't want the words out. They have over 100 detainees that were just swept off the street and nobody knows where they are. They have people getting shot. I was told by this individual, Brian Luis, who was on my show, he said that his family, they were being told that by the Cuban government, the military, that if law and order is not restored, they are going to seek help from the Venezuelan government and the Nicaraguan government to come and march the streets in Cuba and get Cuba back to that the control, dictating law and order and control. Right. And people are they're trying to scare people. Yes, and people will die. I asked him if he thinks that the tone is they think that that's a strong bluff in order to intimidate these poor and starving people back in line. And the biggest problem is the ridiculous Democrat socialists here that turn around and say, well, we stand with the Cuban people. Oh, that's great. You stand with the Cuban people. How about you stand against communism? You stand against socialism. You condemn the government for it and get involved.
I don't know if you heard about that this morning, though. BLM came out and they sided with the government.
I did see that.
They're siding with the Cuban government now. And so now that puts AOC and the squad in a really tight, messed up place because they're like, well, we were for, the Cubans, but now we have to be for, the government. I mean, we're for both of you guys. We're for both. We're on the fence, no, this is either right or wrong. Like what they're doing over there is wrong. And they don't want to denounce socialism because it bursts their bubble, their own little socialistic bubble that they're so proud of.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. I got to say this.
Yeah.
Look at and here's socialism for you. Okay. You have Walmart. They came out and everybody's like, yeah, Walmart, lower prices. This is great. Right. And, Walmart moves into a neighborhood and they put out all of the mom and pop shops out of business. Right.
Yeah.
What happens after they put all the mom and pops out of business?
They raise their prices.
They jack their prices up. And also the prices went up. But what about the customer service? Did the customer service go? Anybody who walks into a Walmart now, that you're not getting customer service. They're avoiding you like the plague to do as least work as possible. So that is a good example of, and that's not even true socialism. That's just what happens, right? That's like, they have the authority to do that stuff. Now think about that on a government level. They get everybody excited. They give them all these nice paychecks. Let's say they gave you $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month to live on. Let's say they did that, right? Well, after they got the control, they could go, oh, well, some things came up and we're going to war and we're doing this. Sorry, guys, we got to drop this down by half.
Right.
And then the next year, a couple years happened. Then we got to drop it down by half again. Oh, we're having a problem with our food and supply and shortage and stuff. You guys are just going to be able to eat, beans and rice for a little while. No problem for me. I was a poor kid. I grew up that way. I could eat that stuff. But that's beside the point. Like that's the kind of stuff that happens. And then they keep they keep the riches on the top, right? Like all the people in power. Of course, you want to be, you want socialism if you feel like you're going to be on top of the tower, you're going to live in the ivory tower and all that stuff, right? You're going to fight for that kind of stuff, and you're going to get all these poor, simple-minded people to follow you're basically giving them what they want. You're telling them exactly what they want to hear. They don't want to work. People that don't want to work, of course, they want socialism because they don't want to work. So you're going to say, hey, I got a way that you don't have to work anymore. You want to try it out? And they don't understand why, why why the bait there is free, why the carrot's free, right? They don't understand that. They just want the carrot. Yeah, I want that carrot. Give me that free carrot.
Then they have you and they control you.
Correct.
It's all about the control. Look at this. And people call me crazy for saying this, but look at the whole pandemic and the mandates that were put in place certain places. I mean, look at you in California, and even me in New York. So you say that the government would never have full control over food sources and rations out and income, but did you ever think that the government would come in and tell small businesses that they could not open? And if they did, they would be fined thousands of dollars or jailed, which people were, because they control the licensing of the businesses. They control the law enforcement that makes them enforce the law, even if they don't want to, like happened in New York plenty of times. Oh, you can't go here without a mask. You can't send your kid to school without a mask. When is it going to come to a point where then they can control more and people will just fall in line and do it? I won't.
Well, I'm not either, and a lot of patriots won't. We just won't. We will fight back and we will be killed. We will die fighting, and that's just the way it is. And I'm okay with that. As long as I die fighting for this country, at least I went down with the forefathers, right? Like the fact that, and I hate when they try to make us into radicals. We're not radicals. We're just regular people that go to work. We take care of our businesses. We take care of our families. A lot of us believe in God. And there's many patriots that might not too, but they still want the right to be free, right? The capitalism, believe it or not, it gives you the right to be free. It doesn't see race. It doesn't see white, black, straight or gay or any of that stuff. What it sees is green. If you can produce a product that other people want and people are going to pay for, and then you can be, you can have your own success. It truly is the American dream. The American dream. There's more people, and believe it or not, I don't know if you saw that post. I did a post a while back. That was the statistics of different nationalities and how they're top income earners in America. And whites were the second to the bottom. It was, we had, people of color, whites, and then all these other different nationalities. And at the top we had, Indians and stuff. So
Indians and Asians, they were all
why
at the top.
Are they so mad at the Indian people that are oppressing us or something, right? Like it's not oppressing. It's just that maybe they know how, they figured out something better. They know how to hustle and sell a product that people want. A lot of these Indian people are doing jobs that people don't want to do. They start up gas stations and things like that. I'm not saying that that's, the cliche thing that they do, but it's true. Like if you do stuff that other people don't want to do and you do it good and efficiently, then people are going to go to your service. They're going to buy your products. And I learned that very early on when I started my own companies. And so, I'm trying to educate people. I'm trying to educate patriots to, don't go down too deep of the rabbit hole stuff. Like control what you can as far as information and make your best judgment. It's good to research what you're looking at and stuff. And even I sometimes get post happy and, I might post something that it really angered me or something, but I always go back and check this stuff too. And if it's totally not right, I have no problem pulling that content. I have no problem to say I was wrong, and I want other people and other patriots to be able to be educated and also to be able to, pass their information and their knowledge on to other people, stuff that they learn, stuff that they're experiencing in the world right now. I don't know. I mean, you have probably already been censored at some point online. People are experiencing this really crazy stuff, and they want to talk about it. But what's happening right now is patriots are bottling it up. And what happens when you keep bottling stuff up, and you don't really get that, you don't get to vent it, then you're probably going to explode. You might freak out and do something wrong or do something bad. And of course, that's just giving the left ammo to call you a nationalist.
100%.
Don't give them the ammo. Okay. If there is a massive uprising of patriots, trust me, you'll know, and everybody will be on board with it and everybody will fight for this country. But until that day comes, and if hopefully we can figure things out before that day comes, but we need to be smart, be educated, I'm gonna help people by creating a platform just for
Right.
conservatives and patriots out there that will teach them how to set up their own shows, set up their own websites, everything. It does it all for them, all the marketing automation, everything they need, and then how to build their own shows on Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff,
Sure.
and get their word out as easy and cheaply as possible. I'm going to give away the course for free. That's because I believe in it, right? Like, I mean, yes, I'd love people to support me and stuff, but I feel like it's more important to get this information out there to people so they can actually use it and benefit from it, start changing their lives, making them better. But if you think about it this way, if everybody's the media, then the fake news media doesn't matter.
It's true. It's true. So we spoke a little bit prior to the show how I started my podcast because, well, I really couldn't say what I wanted to say on social media. You started your podcast pretty much for the same reason.
Right.
And we both haven't been doing this very long, but we both are gaining a large following because they're listening to us, and you're taking it to the next level. As far as offering this course, and I tell people all the time, it doesn't take a lot to start a podcast. If you have something to say, you got to get your microphone. You got to get this, got to get that. You got a phone.
Just a phone. That's all you really need
just
to
need
start
a phone, and you can do it so easily and speak your minds. Don't be intimidated. And it may turn into something. Let
me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, do you remember what it was like being a kid? Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly around the time frame you were born in, but I was born in the 80s, right?
Yeah, 79. I'm 42. Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember what life was like back then. You remember how we didn't have censorship.
Nope.
We didn't have any censorship. We had Eddie Murphy Raw and Richard Pryor and all these really awesome, crazy comedians out there, right? And they could speak their minds. They could say racist stuff if they wanted to because it was free and it was America, right? Yeah. There was no PC. PC is just politically correctness actually was a smart tool for the left when they came out. It's just a form of censorship. It's to stop you from saying stuff because, that's not PC, right? Like, and look what it did to the comedy industry. You have people like Dave Chappelle come out and they can't even do comedy like they normally want to do, which probably would be absolutely hilarious. But they can't even do that now. So it's dumbing down everything. It's dumbing down the comedy. It's making it not funny anymore. And so they're having a really hard time. And then when they do something against the rails and it's, borderline, whatever, racist or whatever they want to say, well, then they get hit with lawsuits like crazy and tons of litigation. Right. So it's a different world, and we let it get there.
What makes me laugh with all of you have black comedians and black entertainers using this so-called racial comedy, which we all know is hilarious and laugh at it. And the people that are getting offended are white liberals. It's like they're because they want to apologize for being white because somebody it's unbelievable. And you said something earlier about you're not a radical or anything. And I don't consider myself a radical. However, I am radically, extremely in love with freedom. So if that makes me a radical extremist, then call me whatever you want. I'm not
and that's what they'll do. They'll give you a name. They'll call you a radical extremist or whatever because you love your flag. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Because I put my flag up on the 4th of July, I'm a radical. It's ridiculous. And it's a tool that they're using to create, just like they incited a race war. They're going to create and incite patriots as nationalists. And now they're using the flag for the wrong reason. And they're doing all this stuff so that they can give them an excuse to come for us, to imprison us, jail us. Believe it or not, a lot of us are probably going to end up in jail. I hate to say that, but I feel like that's what's going to happen just because we are speaking out against opposition, and the left are using Nazi tactics to silence and oppress their opposition, censor their opposition. They're working closely with big tech. We've got emails. We've got the proof. Like, it's there. And people on the left are just ignoring it. They don't understand that eventually, once they are totally controlled by their party, that they eat themselves. Their party turns on them, and then they're going to try to fight back against it. But too late. You already gave away all your freedoms. You already sold your soul to the devil, right? Like that's pretty much what's happening.
We know that the federal government has no qualms about, politically persecuting and incarcerating people based on nothing, like trespassing charges in Washington,
granny's locked up right now, still.
Exactly, with no bail, no trial date, nothing. New York Manhattan Attorney General dropped hundreds and hundreds of charges for people that were burning buildings and
burning government buildings down. Government buildings, yes.
They not to get into the whole January 6th saga, but I always have this argument. The insurrection. It wasn't an insurrection. There is not one charge amongst the hundreds of people arrested of insurrection or sedition.
Their left-wing media actually reported that Antifa. They had Antifa members in there mixed in with them. And let me just remind everybody that there was a year prior to Jan 6th of people burning everything down and destroying everything, right? Like a whole full year. That's a lot of time to be burning and destroying everything, right? And so if anything, a lot of those patriots in there, they did take advantage of some patriots, and I'm sure that a lot of people got riled up just like I would and you would. Sure. They took advantage of that and they used it as a tool to cause a riot, essentially.
Right.
But it's not something they haven't been taught that was okay to do for the whole past year. So you think all those grannies that were walking into the Capitol thought, oh, well, they're not going to take me to jail. They didn't lock up half of the nation. I should be fine.
Right. Wrong.
When you set a standard, you set the standard.
Yeah.
So you have to own it. Like, if you're going to lock everybody up from Jan 6th, then you need to go back, Mr. FBI and all the other crazy woke, agencies out there, and go get the freaking Antifa guys. Go get the BLM rioters and stuff that burned everything down, stole weapons. Like, there's police guns on the street because they broke into these police stations. They did all kinds of crazy stuff, dude.
Crazy.
And I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see this stuff, especially growing up. I was just a young boy. I was in the Ronald Reagan times where, people were very patriotic. They loved their country, and I truly believe, and this is why, again, I'm also fighting for this as well, right? Like the fact that, patriotism, I love when Trump came out and he kind of like awoke patriotism in a lot of people. And I love that. I think it's great. But there are a lot of people that, they just kind of pushed patriotism out of the schools when they were younger, like in the 80s. And they said, oh, no, let's get rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. I feel like that's where it started. As soon as you got rid of the Pledges of Allegiance, well, now you got rid of something that's that sense of purpose and then belonging to a group, right? So that now when you get older and you are looking and searching for something to belong to, you choose these radical groups, you choose these Antifas, these BLMs, you choose these other little groups because you're trying to belong to something to make your life worth something, like give it a sense of purpose. And I feel like if everybody in America got on the patriotism, deal, like I feel like they and understood and believe, had a love of country, they would be able to pull themselves away from those hate groups and those crazy groups out there, and we could all be united just like we're supposed to be under one flag. Like the American flag it's for everybody. It's for all races. It's for all genders. It's for everything. Right. And I should say genders, 2 genders. So yeah. Only 2. I'm sorry. Biology.
I want to get into that. I want to get into the gender thing in a minute, because I know you're in California, but backtrack on the.
I got some stuff for you. So
I know. And you're putting so much in my head every time you open your mouth, Ben. It's like,
I'm not alone in this. I'm just a regular guy that has these same feelings that everybody else in America is saying. I'm just saying them. Yeah, and that's why I'm getting people that support me. That's why I'm getting people that share my stuff, because they feel it too, and they feel like, well, if I can share this, at least I can stick it to somebody for a minute,
right?
And that's another way to contribute as well. If you don't have to start your own show, I want to educate you and show you how to, but you don't have to. You could just hit the share button. You can like it. You can love it. You can, pass it on, repost, whatever you want to do. Be careful. You might get censored, but that's okay. Start a new account and go go crazy if you want.
They're never going to silence people like me. They're never going to silence people like you. You say, well,
I've already been silenced. I've been banned. I've built up a huge following before and I got banned. And the problem is when they ban you, it removes all of your posts and everything from Instagram. So all my content could go disappear overnight. Everything.
It's amazing. I haven't been
Wild.
removed from any major platforms yet. I don't consider TikTok a major platform. I started a TikTok.
It's a
A
commie
TikTok.
platform, really.
Well, I know I started it just to make a couple videos, and then I didn't touch it, and then I went back on it because I wanted to make a video with it, and I've been permanently banned, which I don't care about. You know, it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing with the Pledge of Allegiance in schools and belonging to that patriotic community, and now, on the flip side, look what they're doing in schools. With the critical race theory, we know that is sneaking into schools. We have major teacher unions that are vowing to protect teachers who get fired or reprimanded for teaching it in places where states are stepping up banning it. And that you're seeing Black Lives Matter posters in classrooms and things like that. And then now you have the federal government, you have Biden saying, I love it because he can't do simple math. He came out and said, well, he wanted to add 4 more years of school because 12 years isn't enough and make it 14 years. Well, and the last I saw, 12 plus 4 is 16 years, Joe Biden, not 14. So 2 years to start indoctrinating your children when they're 3 and 4, 2 years of pre-K, then the 12 years of indoctrination, then 2 more years of free community college of more indoctrination. So by the time they're out, 16 years, you have a fully indoctrinated activist
brainwashed zombie,
brainwashed and do anything that the woke left sickos and the progressives want them to do. In essence, completely destroying patriotism because now the left says the American flag is not a sign of unity. It's a sign of division and white supremacy. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed about that. When I saw that shit, I was like, this horse shit.
Shit.
Oh my gosh. Like, I couldn't believe that they were doing that. And, you know, and then the Macy Gray's coming out and they're saying, oh, and nobody really knows who she is. And you shouldn't. She's nobody. But she comes out. She's like, oh, we need a new flag. This one's racist. And like, come on. Now, here's the thing. I always preach this, and I'm going to continue to preach this over and over and over and over again. So I hope you guys don't get, you know, burned out on it. But the left are a cult. They have they've been infiltrated by communism and socialism, so much so that if there is a moderate Democrat, you're going to be hard to find them because 95% of that whole group is totally drinking the Kool-Aid and they are on board. And the crazy thing is they will just blindly do what the rest of them sense and say and do, right? Like it's super weird. It's you just become transparent. You don't become individual. You're not an individual. You can't have individual thought.
They don't want
everybody else thinks.
They don't want individuals. They don't want individualism.
And all these tactics are cult tactics. Everything that they're doing is cult tactics. And so that's and think about it. Get into an argument with a Democrat. What happens? If there's other Democrats around, what happens?
They gang up on you. It's an attack on your humanity.
They jump in, and all of them. When they will sit there and they will try to sit there and convince you until you believe it. And what's
funny,
even my own kid, she told me, she goes, Dad, like there's a lot of people that they just believe all this stuff. They never question anything. They just believe it right away, and they're getting all their information from TikTok. She's like, that's not even a credible news source. She's like, that's just a random place. I go,
it's exactly, not a news source.
Exactly. You go believe some crap that they told you on TikTok. By the way, China has, believe it or not, an education center where all they're doing is teaching people how to be influencers, to influence people on TikTok and those other platforms in here in America. And that's all they do. It was a really eerie picture. I have to find that picture, but it's a picture of all of them lined up in like 6 feet apart. And they have a tripod and the camera right in front of their face. And they're just sitting there doing and talking at the same time, all of them, and trying to do, influencer education stuff, and just so they can spread the CCP message. But yes, very culty. They use cult tactics. And it was funny because they attacked my daughter at one time. They asked her like something like, "Oh, are you getting vaccinated?" She goes, "No, I think I'm going to wait until let it go through and let some people try it out and see what happens and if it's safe and stuff." Because it truly is. It's a clinical trial is what's happening. Yeah. Everybody's on a clinical trial. Like this stuff hasn't been approved. They emergency rushed it out, and they're pushing this clinical trial on everybody. We don't even know what's going on, but yes, people are dying. They're getting weird, illnesses, and they're getting, in some cases, diseases they never had before. And so my daughter, of course, was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll wait. Every one of her little, other friends, a lot of these people like, and they sit there and they try to convince her, and what you're doing, you're killing people. You're going to kill people and try to make her feel bad. Right.
Wow.
Get this, in California now, they want to require masks for children. Again, putting a mask on your face to protect you from COVID is like putting up a chain link fence to protect you from mosquitoes.
Yep.
Like they will fly through it. Okay.
Yep.
So it doesn't work. It's a bunch of BS. Even Fauci in his emails exposed it himself, but people still believe the nonsense. So it's just a way to be culty, right? I wear my mask. Nobody thinks I'm a Trumper. So they want to force the masks in schools. Mm-hmm. And what's going to happen for the kids that are in class with masks and everybody else that's vaccinated? What do you think is going to happen? It's a real question. They're going to be made fun of.
Yeah.
They're going to attack them because
for?
You're an anti-vaxxer. Oh, you're this, you're that.
Yes.
So you're basically getting people to, to push your rhetoric and oppress people that don't want to do it just because they don't want to do it. What happened to this whole my body, my choice thing?
The Democrats coined that statement, my body, my choice. But now when you use it for the vaccine, they go, no, this is different.
This is different. Yeah.
This is different.
Everything they do is hypocrisy. Oh, got to wear masks on planes. But then we'll just totally break out of our jobs in Texas and fly ourselves to D.C. on the taxpayer dime, spending $100,000 just for the jet. But, we'll grab a case of, Natty Ice or whatever the Miller Lite or whatever it was. And we'll bolt on out of here and break the law. Dereliction of duty, 100%. And, we won't wear masks or do anything, rules for thee.
It didn't work. And it didn't work because they had the quorum and they voted anyway. And they passed it. So everything they did was just a desperate measure for getting their idiotic faces on TV. And they sang a stupid song. It's just a political stunt.
It was a political stunt. And it was funny because many of those people that were on those planes were like, I'm giving away everything. I'm losing everything, my family, my life, and blah, blah, blah. And they're raising money. One guy on that plane raised $150,000 in 4 hours.
It's sick.
Not a political stunt. Kind of weird.
It is sick.
Kind of weird.
It is it's beyond weird. It's just disgustingly sick. $150,000 in 4 hours from his sick, woke constituents
and
believing.
Remember, it's a cult, so they blindly, I need money. I need to give it away.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Yeah. Everything for the cult. Everything. Right? And that's one thing I do give them is when they're hell-bent on destroying America, they are so good at it. They can destroy America so fast right before your very eyes. It's only been a matter of months that they've been in, and look at the shit show that they've done to everything. Like
look what they're doing with this transgender movement. With men walking into locker rooms, with exposing themselves, I
posted about that the other day. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
It happened a few times in California and in spas, and people aren't doing anything about it. Like,
transgender males in women's spas. So a woman and her daughter was in the spa. And
I got to interrupt you 1 second.
Go ahead.
Biological men playing dress up and dressing up as women. I you know what? The whole transgender thing, give me a break. You are a man and you're dressing up as a woman. Correct. So you know what? You want to call yourselves transgender? Fine. I'm going to call you a man that's wearing a wig, dress, and lipstick.
It's exactly what it is. It's just, and it's not even being insulting. First off, you're in America, land of the free. You're entitled to your opinion. Mm-hmm. You're entitled to say whatever you want to say. And they're entitled to wear a dress if they want to wear a dress. Go ahead. Absolutely. But don't try to sell me you're crazy. Don't sell me you're crazy. Don't try to make me say I have to believe your craziness. Like I don't have to. You're trying to bring me down on your level, and that's not going to happen. I believe that there's two genders. You either have a penis or you don't. Okay, and that's it. If you're confused, look down your pants, and you can tell what you are. I don't care how you feel inside. If you feel like you're a certain person or whatever, great. You go be that. But don't try to convince everybody else against biology. Don't try to rewrite biology. Don't try to rewrite history, all that stuff. Like that's total Nazi tactic kind of stuff. And, when it comes to this, transgender male that went in there and exposed himself, the dude walks in and basically pulls out the towel, opens it up, and is like, here, check it out, kid. Like, you're exposing a male private, in front of a child. That's wrong. That's not right. And everybody should be able to see that. If you have a penis, I'm sorry, you can wear a dress. That's fine. Go use the male stall or go use the disabled person stall. There are bathrooms in most places they're designed for disabled people. You see them all the time. You see them in Subway. You see them everywhere. Like, go use those things if you need to use them, and you don't feel comfortable being around males and you feel like you're a woman or whatever. But yeah, don't make it feel like we have to believe your crazy stuff, because we don't. That's not American. That's not natural. Like, it's
criminal.
Crazy.
Keep it away from the kids. Keep it away from the kids. That person should be locked up, registered sex offender, because that's what he is, a sexual predator.
You expose yourself to a child. That's sex offender stuff. Like, you should be on the sex offender list. Absolutely.
This is that woke left's way of grooming children and grooming society. That this is the new normal. This is accepted now. Yeah, pedophilia is accepted now.
Well, it's going into child abuse, guys. It's going into child abuse. Like, yes, if you want to be gay, be gay. I have gay friends. I love them. They're great. But they don't shove it down everybody's throat. Right? Like, they're not here, I'm going to push my gay stuff on you and all that, right? Like conservative gay people, like they believe in our values. They're like, yeah, I just want to be free to love who I want. Great. That's fine. You can be free to love whoever you want, legally love whoever you want. I have to say that word legally in there, because that way it doesn't include the pedophiles, because we know that pedophiles are trying to, oh no, we just want to be free to love children. No, that's not okay. That's illegal. So it's a big push right now that we have to do on our end to save the kids, save the children, protect them from a lot of this crazy whack stuff, because that's what they're trying to do. They're causing kids to question themselves, like, at such a young age, when you don't even know who you are anyways. You're just growing up. You're trying to figure stuff out. Let them grow up and decide who they want to be. If you truly believe in being gay and all that stuff like that, then you should understand that you found out you were gay at some point in your life, and you discovered it on your own. Hopefully you weren't groomed into it, right? Like, and that's what's happening right now. It's a massive amount of child abuse. Like, I saw a post the other day where I don't know if they were transgender or what, but one was a man that was dressed like a woman, and the other one was a woman that was dressed like a man, and she gave birth to a child. The one that looks like a man gave birth to a child. I know it's confusing, right? That's what this stuff is. Gave birth to a child and then had that baby trying to lactate on the man.
Oh my God.
That is child abuse. Yeah. I don't care what you say. That baby cannot get milk out of the man's nipple. I'm sorry, guys. We can't lactate. You're a man.
That is a sick sexual perversion, a sex act that should be criminally charged for.
Right. And it's a hot topic, dude. And a lot of people, like, I'm guarantee people are going to they might even get mad at this podcast and say some stuff about it. And they're obviously going to push some hate there, but like, let's have a good conversation about, like, let's talk about it. You can't possibly defend doing this nasty, crazy stuff with kids. I'm sorry, you can't. America is losing its moral compass because of the indoctrination in the country.
There is no excuse for it. It is criminal. It is criminal. Yeah. What else is abuse is the videos of these women who are deep indoctrinated themselves, where they have a 2-year-old and they make a video and say, oh, this is my son, Jack, and he's 2 and he's gay. Yeah. Really? So your 2-year-old is gay, you sicko?
Megan Fox, she made her son go to school wearing dresses because she feels it builds confidence in him.
Builds confidence. Yeah, that kid is going to get beat and picked on, and he's going to be abusive. And he's going to end up
with issues he didn't even have to have. Nope. He didn't even have to experience.
He's going to end up either dying of a drug overdose or suicide. That's what'll end up happening to that kid, unfortunately.
And they're okay with that, by the way. They want that. The left love the drugs, right? Like you look at Oregon, they have decriminalized all hard drugs. You want to smoke meth in the streets and snort coke right in the streets? You can. Right. Go ahead. And they want that. Like, and what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to die from it. A lot of people have, there's people ODing like crazy up in Oregon right now. ODing like crazy, dying because they just keep injecting those dirty needles, dirty drugs, all that crazy stuff. And they're just okay with it.
But drug overdoses are an epidemic everywhere right now because even if they decriminalize it. But in New York, go to Washington Square Park right now, and most Democrat-run cities, and they're shooting up right in the middle of the street, right in the middle of the day.
They do that here in California.
Right, look at San Francisco.
Right on the street. Like, I can't go to the Rayleigh's or Bel Air or any of those stores to get a gallon of milk without passing a needle on the ground, like a legit needle. Drug needle that's been used and it's on the ground. Like, and we're not talking one, we're talking like several on the ground. Like it's supposed to be a nice neighborhood or a nice area or whatever, but we got drug users everywhere. We have homeless people invading into the suburbs and all that stuff too. So the homeless situation out here is absolutely crazy. I don't know. You guys probably don't see it as much because they really downplay it out here. And oh no, everything's cool. They always show pictures of beautiful beaches and Disneyland and all that stuff. No.
I talked about it.
We have homeless people everywhere. We have homeless people lined up along the streets, lined up along the sides of Walmart. I can't go into Walmart. I can't get out of my truck and walk 20 feet into Walmart without getting hit up by several bums asking me for money.
Sure.
Like, and my kids, I have to hold them right close to me when I get out of my car because, dude, the other day I went to Home Depot. I get out of my car, and this was like, actually, well, there's a couple instances. That was one of them. When I got out of my car, and a homeless person was approaching me to, hit me up for money and stuff like that. But dude was like right up on me. Earlier in the pandemic, and this was where everybody kind of was unsure. We didn't know, is this a real thing? Like, are we going to get sick? Or and I got a little weird too. I was like, I'm going to put on a lot of that, antibacterial stuff in my hands. Like I was wiping down my groceries and stuff because I was losing my mind. I was like, this is crazy. Right. They made it seem like this was it. This is the end, right? Like this is the end.
This is the end.
And so I went to a store and I got out and my kids were with me. And all of a sudden I felt like heat on my neck. I was like, what the heck? And I look around. Homie was right behind me with his mask and stuff. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, whoa, I'm like, get back, dude. Like, get back up, like right on me. And this was like the pandemic when you're supposed to be like really scared. I didn't knock him out or anything like that. Trust me, he almost got knocked out, but I was just like, bro, back up, dude. Like I was upset, because I'm like, back up. Like you can't be up on me. And he was just trying to bum money, but you couldn't hear him because one, he's a drug addict. So he probably had some, issues, right?
Right.
And they kind of drooling and stuff, but then they got the mask on, like he's mumbling and stuff, and so it's like
the zombie apocalypse.
It was zombie. It was like kind of a zombie feel, right? Like you walk up and there's the zombie. Turn around, I couldn't see it until it was on my neck, right? Like.
I was watching videos and just of areas of San Francisco and Nancy Pelosi's district about all of the homeless and the tent cities and the hypodermic needles, and even homeless people would say. There was one homeless guy. He goes, "Listen, I don't do drugs and I can't stay. I'm homeless. I have my own issues, but I'm walking down the street and I have 5 people human beings shitting on the sidewalk.
Oh,
and I
it's
have
okay.
To,
it's legal. Yeah,
like it's legal for humans to crap on the sidewalk
and crap right there in the street. They actually have an app out in San Francisco where it's like you can scan and find the poops. It's like a poopy finder or something. They scan it and somebody will come up. Our taxpayer money pays for this. They will come up and they will remove the poop off the sidewalk. And it's just poopy removal, kind of thing. This
is an app.
Yeah, they have lots of apps actually. I think there's like a good maybe 1,000 of these apps. Believe it or not.
To find shit on the street.
Correct.
Human shit on the street.
Human excrement. Yeah, and what's crazy is like you can be walking down the street with your kids. Again, we're going back to the pedophile stuff, right? Like we're walking down the street with the kids, full on naked man walking down the street. with his dong out and everything, just walking right past my kids. Like,
And
you know, and after I, you know, we went down there one time and I was just trying, you know, I was wanting to take my kids out to see the wax museum and do all the fun stuff that they had out there, you know, the Pier 49 and all that.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, guys, we're never coming back again. You know, enjoy this. So I can, because this place has went to hell. It's literally went to hell. Like the homeless situation's out of control. We have homeless all over our beaches now. They've totally ruined our beaches. I wouldn't doubt it if there's tons of hypodermic needles in the sand now. So you got to be very careful if you do come out here to bring your kids to the beaches, because you're probably going to get stuck with some kind of needle. That
is unbelievable.
I mean, look at Venice Beach. There's a couple of really funny channels. One I think it's like People of Venice or Beach or something like that. I can't remember. I'll have to find that on Instagram. But really fun. It's sad, but it's funny. It's like it's exposing all the lies. It's showing all the homeless, all the things they're doing, talking to real people on there. And, you know, they're beating each other up. There's murders that happen there. Like homeless people murdering other homeless people and stuff.
Right. That's always kept quiet. That stuff is always kept quiet.
Hush, hush. Yeah.
Homeless people.
It's just a problem. We're working on it. Don't worry. We're getting more hotels to put people in. We're using the tax dollars wisely right after we give away $1.5 million to 10 people each, by the way. We could have $1.5 million. If you're just going to give it away to somebody, random Joe that got a vaccination, could $1.5 million possibly help the homeless situation?
Sure.
Could that times 10?
Sure.
Absolutely. Like they could have done a lot of things, right? But no, let's use our taxpayer money. That's what Democrats are really good at. Tax the crap out of you. Every time they need more money, they add a tax. They add a gas tax. They add this tax. There's another tax, blah, 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 blah. We got so many taxes, it makes my head spin. But that's how they get more money. As soon as they run out of something, they retax. But eventually people are going to be so taxed that there will be no way to take it from people, right? Right. That's one of the reasons why Joe Biden is hiring over 100,000 auditors for the IRS. He wants to go out and really dig deep into the details and really take that money from other people so that they can fund their crazy radical stuff, right? Because they're not business people, they're politicians people, okay? So, and that's why they hate Trump, is he's a businessman, and us business people, I'm going to tell it to you, give it to you straight. When we see stuff that's not working, we cut it.
Right.
We save the money. That's what business people do. Right.
You put the money into something
it's not
that
helping
works.
us, it's gone. Right. And so, but politicians, they see something that's not working. Well, then we're just not throwing enough money at it. Let's throw more money at it. Let's throw more money at it. Let's add another, agency over here. Let's add all these people. Look at all these jobs we're creating. First off, it's not creating jobs when you put half of America out of jobs for the pandemic, and then they come back from the pandemic. It's just normal people going back to work.
You're not creating jobs. The jobs were there.
You created no jobs. If anything, you lost jobs because a lot of those people aren't coming back.
Because businesses have closed and failed and were forced to close. So now we're losing jobs. We're not gaining jobs. It's such this smoke and mirror syndrome is just so out of control, and everybody's guilty of it.
It does make you feel crazy at times. It makes you feel like, I can't believe that people are this dumb, that they don't see it, but they truly are. People are that dumb. And this is what I believe. I don't believe that everybody's this dumb. Okay. I believe that the left know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing. They know that they're doing is wrong. When they say something, when they lie to you barefaced through the camera, they're looking directly at you, American people. When they lie to you, they know they're lying to you, and it's intentional. There's an agenda behind it. They're doing it on purpose. And as much as you want to think that, no, they would never do that. The government loves us. The government's there to protect us. Of course, that's what they want you to believe.
Politicians, especially the Democratic Party, are master
manipulators. To lie to you.
Yes. Master manipulators. They're actually very good at it. They're very smart, intelligent. They're geniuses. I'd hate to say it, but they're really genius at manipulating the masses. They have convinced the American people that the $1 trillion is the new $1 million. It's not that much money. It's only $1.9 trillion because
it's okay. We have plenty of it. We'll just devalue the dollar and we'll just raise everything up, and it's the new thing. And this is the sick part, guys. And you got to hear me. You got to listen to me. Okay. It's very, very important. They are devaluing the money, and it's basically a transfer of wealth. So all your grandparents and the people that left you money, and they worked their whole lives, and let's say they were super successful and they made $1 million to give to you or pass on to you. Well, that $1 million every day that the Democrats in charge is becoming worth less and less and less and less. And when it happens over the scale and they make it, oh, well, you know, like you said, $1 million is now the $1 trillion is the new million or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they're trying to do. Is it's making the stuff that you guys worked so hard for worth next to nothing. So it's almost like everything they did was for naught. Like it's almost like slavery. And but who's the party of slavery? The Democrats, right?
Exactly.
Like it's smart slavery. We are all, as American people, you know, back in the day when they said, oh, you can't have, you know, slaves anymore. Well, now we're just, you'll all be slaves.
Right.
We're
like enslaved to money. We are the slave to money, to survival. Absolutely. And the only way to survive is money. So how that money is controlled and how that money is valued is very, very important on where we go as a society and just being able to live and survive freely.
Correct. Yeah, and it's anything to attack us. They're using multiple tools, multiple ways, multiple departments, multiple agencies, everything they can do to attack us at our core, to destroy this nation. This country's so great, it has a lot of haters, guys. I hate to break it to you. If you're living in America, there's a lot of people that hate you. There's a lot of people that hate you outside of this country because they want what you have. They need America. They want America, and they want to see, it's their life passion to try to destroy America. And China's doing a really good job. Again, going back to China as, you know, being a country of using their money as a weapon. What's happening right now, and I know this by personal experience with working with people in the Philippines. China's going through and they're buying up. Well, I shouldn't say buying. They're giving infrastructure loans to lots of different countries across the world, and they're smaller countries, right? And they're saying you could develop and don't worry about the money. We'll take care of it. Develop, build. Here's an infrastructure loan. Okay, here's the free carrot. Right. Here's the free money. And what happens is a lot of these countries build up and they build up all this really cool stuff, but then they can't pay back that debt. Guess what happens when you can't pay a debt?
Foreclosed. It's ours now, and we'll control
it's ours
it.
Now. And then so now, believe it or not, China is one of the biggest countries that own many other countries. They own them. It's theirs. So, and then the Philippines is actually under this now. They're actually doing it. They're taking that money and it's not even a lot. That's the scary thing, is that they're buying these countries for pennies on the dollar. And then now they own them. And so they're like, okay, well, now we own it. Now we can control it. We'll come in, we run everything and all that stuff. And this is what we want you guys to believe in. And this is what you should teach in school. And this is blah, 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 right? So eventually, if you look at communism in China, it's very much like a pandemic. It's growing like a pandemic, and it's infecting all of these countries. It's affecting people. It's affecting leaders, even in our own government, and they're being bought. You know, I don't have confidence in Joe Biden. I don't have confidence in his son, Hunter Biden, that is now this new Picasso. You know, I doubt that, you know, that when they say they're going to sell a Hunter Biden picture for $500,000, I go, oh, bullshit. That's bullshit. Investigate that. And then when you have the presidency get involved to block people from seeing that, scary.
And what I don't understand is, all right, so if they want to call it money laundering, and all right, if you're going to spend anonymously $500,000 for something that my dog can paint with his paw, then someone says, well, this is for paid access to the big guy, paid access for the exposure to Joe Biden or other influential Democrats.
Right.
You would think, I mean, obviously, I guess they can't have paintings selling for $1 million yet. We got to start out slow with the $500,000 because these oligarchs from all over the world, especially China, would happily spend billions of dollars to get some hardcore influential FaceTime with Joe Biden.
Yes,
and his
absolutely.
son, like
Absolutely.
they have in the past in other ways when he was
Absolutely.
vice
And they
president.
benefit from it. I mean,
Yes.
and vice versa. I mean, it's not just Hunter Biden getting money from these other countries and Russia and
No.
all this other stuff. It's also, Joe Biden paying for Hunter's little extravagant little party down in, what was it? I forget the name of that place. Um,
Oh, whether they
you know,
paid $25,000 for a Russian hooker.
yes,
I
yes.
forget where that was. Yeah, I forget where that was. I was just
But my
talking
son
about
did
that.
it. He's just a troubled young man. The young man
Right.
is 50 years old.
Right.
Get out of here with that stuff. He's a man. He's not a troubled youth. It's like
I believe Joe Biden said he is the most intelligent man that he knows while he's rummaging through shag carpets looking for chunks of Parmesan cheese to smoke out of a crack pipe, you stupid moron.
it's sick. It's sick. It's a sickness. And we got to be careful, guys. We have to be careful. All of you out there that are listening to this or watching this, just do the right thing. Like, all the information you take in, use it, think about it, research it, make your best judgments. Don't let these guys just blindly control you. Don't just, drink the Kool-Aid and let them, rule over you. Obviously, these guys are doing very, very bad things. They do bad things in the name of good. A lot of these things were done in the name of good. This critical race theory stuff, it's racism. You want to teach kids to be racist. That's plain and simple. And America, we don't believe in that. True America, everybody is created equally. Everybody is, if just look at Martin Luther King and his dream, right? Like, that's what we got to get back to. This critical race theory and teaching kids to hate themselves, and now trying to flip the script and now make, white kids hate themselves or something. No, I'm sorry. And
it's horrible.
That's just, we're always going to have differences. That's just going to make people more racist, create more racism, lock more people up, create more slavery, more, privatized prisons, things like that. Like it's a very slippery slope. It doesn't belong in our schools. It doesn't belong in our military, especially the woke stuff in the military. I'm telling you right now, it does not belong in there. I'm a Navy veteran. I was trained by the Navy SEALs. We used to do drug ops aboard ships. And it was a very dangerous job. Okay. Like, most of the time they give up, but then every now and then they come out blazing. They want to shoot you. They want to kill you. I was nearly killed. Right. Like, so, and I had a friend that was killed in the military, and that's a whole nother, it's a very sad story. But, the point is, when you're in the military, we are taught that we're all one. Right. Just like back in the day, they had the army of one, all of that stuff. It was a good way to teach us in the military that no matter what, if one of our brothers or sisters' lives are in danger, we will sacrifice ourselves for them. We will die for them to protect them. And that's how we are. That's like every one of us. It was very highly multicultural, black, white, Mexican, everything. We would have died for each other. I still would die for those people because I love them. And, that's why I know America is not racist. Deep down in my heart, I know it's not, because I've seen it. I've seen the good that America is. And to see them trying to divide our military, that is just a blatant assault on our military. Our whole government should be in an uproar over this stuff and should not be allowing this stuff to happen, because once they destroy our military and they weaken our military and they take our guns from us and they take our voices and silence us, what do you think's happening next? Right? You got China's now the biggest Navy. They got 50 more ships than us.
Right.
Okay. They're in control, guys. They're getting in control, and we're allowing it. We're giving it up willingly. And a lot of the politicians and the people that are owned by them, they're selling us out. And if you can't see that, I hope to God that you guys wake up and you actually see it eventually, because it's happening, and it's happening right now. That's
right
why
now, and it's happening fast, and it's like you said, it's like a virus, and China is one of the causes of that virus, if not the main cause, to make us weak and to sell their agenda and weaken our military and make us where we're a joke of a country and not a strong country, and maybe we can't defend ourselves.
Do you think people are not laughing at us now? Is China? Let me ask you this: does China have all these, critical race theory and all this stuff over there? No. Why aren't they talking about that stuff? Why aren't they talking about all the genocides and all the killings and the murders and everything that happens over there?
Right.
Well, I mean, we got enough to talk about just over here with us in America. I get why they don't bring in other countries, because we're in trouble ourselves. But There's a reason why they don't. They're hiding all this stuff. They make it look
Yes.
like it's this fantasy wonderland. And, even my man, Elon Musk, I love him to death. I love Elon Musk. I love what he's done.
Yeah.
But, he made a comment the other day that really it just made me so sad. He was like, oh, yeah, you should definitely go over there and see how China is doing. They're really innovating and doing some cool stuff over there. Let me just point this out to you guys. Sure. Maybe they do. What if they have flying space cars over there? Little flying ships, and they have all this wonderful stuff over there. Their technology is great. Let's just say it is. Where did they get that money? They're taking it from everybody else. Everybody's a slave. If they made us all slaves, of course America could do the same. Sure. But that's not the point of America. The point of America is to be free. I want to be able to work for my own. I want to go build a cabin with my own hands on my own land.
Right.
I want that right. I want to work. I don't want, but I want to keep what I earn. That's to me, it's not a crazy thing to ask for or want. And for everybody else that's pushing all this stuff and they want communism, wake up. Those people are not happy over there. They're rioting in the streets. And when they riot, they wave our flags. They shout freedom.
And they're not rioting in the streets for lack of vaccines or COVID spikes. They're rioting in the streets and rallying in the streets because they want freedom. They want what we have. And that's why it's important to question everything. Question everything you're told. Do your own research. Do your due diligence. It's important.
You're doing yourself a disservice by not investigating things, and not questioning things. To me, it was an easy choice. When I switched over, and I was like, look, you Democrats are out of control. This is whack. I'm all for people like I said, when it comes to the gay people, I want them to have their rights. I want them to be able to love each other and have their families and stuff like that. Right. I don't believe in bringing kids into the crazy stuff and trying to make them lactate against a man's nipple and exposing themselves and stuff. I don't believe in that. So I have what you call a moral compass. There's right and wrong, and they're trying to blur the lines between right and wrong. And that's not okay. We have to have right or wrong, or else this whole country will go to shit. It absolutely will. You won't even know what you're fighting for anymore.
Society will collapse.
Yeah. Eventually, the military will just be a bunch of social workers that are going out going, hey, China man, what are you having a problem with today? Why are you truly upset with me? And all that stuff. And then bang, the China guy shoots, the American.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to get there. Okay. We want to maintain our strength and power. We want to make sure that all the yahoos in the world are not doing crazy stuff and trying to blow us up. Right. And, Obama and Biden did a really good job at weaponizing our agencies against us. We're already seeing it now. I mean, the fact that they were targeting Tucker Carlson and all that stuff, and they're reading his emails and stuff. Now they're coming out with that new news that they released. They're going to now read our text messages. All of us. They're going to blanket read our text messages. A lot of you are, they're going to look a little bit closer. Conservatives. So, so, they're going to read your text to see misinformation about vaccines and blah, 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 right? They're reading your stuff. They're gathering data. They love data. They love to gather data. That's what big tech does. We gather the data and we use it against them later on. Right. Go
ahead.
No, I was going to say, my opinion is that, they're going to gather all this data, all this information on you, but live your life unapologetic. Okay.
Yes.
You live your life, do what's right, choose the right, do the right things, and and just keep being you. But the thing is they're going to try to use this stuff against you. They'll use your horrors, your bad stuff. All the politicians, think about this. You got to big tech just scraping all this information, all the posts. I might make 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 posts, 15 posts that are completely abrasive to what the left say and view and all that stuff. And they might call me a racist. They might call me a bigot. They might call me all these things, right? I'm none of those things, by the way, but let them call me that. But they will gather that information. And if I ever wanted to run for office or do something like that, I guarantee they would dig that shit up out of their servers and they would put it all over the place, all over fake news media and crucify me.
Everything. They would use their propaganda machine, the mainstream media, and destroy you.
And they'll give me a choice. They might even give me a choice. They might even say, hey, we have all this dirt on you. you go our way and you become a rhino for us, or we'll fry you. We'll destroy you. What? That's a great tool. That's exactly what the communists are doing with a lot of these other people. They're giving them all this money and saying, "Hey, I got stuff on you, and I can expose you, and you definitely will be, a treason. You'll be a traitor to this country." So
it's scary and concerning, and the message is strong. Question everything. Love your country. Fight to be free.
Save America.
Save America. I hope that some of these candidates that are coming forth for the midterms on the America First agenda, who are true to their word and really want to serve the people and fight for the country and work for us and not be part of the establishment, I really hope that we flip the house and things start to turn around. But
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really excited about these audits. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be fighting them. You shouldn't be hiring 100,000 lawyers and trying to do everything in your power to stop us from learning the truth.
The president of the United States should not be going to Pennsylvania to specifically talk about being against an audit.
They do not want the truth out. I'm telling you right now, they do not want it out. No. They do not want it out. And once it's out, then everybody's going to be questioning this, right? And it's okay, guys. Listen, there's going to be fraud exposed. And the elections have been tampered with, and they've already exposed it already. They found that they counted 100,000 ballots in, I think it was New York, wasn't it? I can't remember. It was one of those places. They counted 100,000 ballots, and it was all test ballots, right? For the the governor guy. Or no, I think that's what it was.
You mean the New York City mayor primary just recently?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was like 135,000 ballots that were.
And they were test ballots. They counted them.
They were test ballots. Yeah, they counted
them.
So,
yes, accidents happen, things happen. Whether it's intentional or not, those things can happen. And let's just say that doesn't mean our elections are going to be bad. It just means we got to tighten it up and fix them. That's all. Right. Like, you fix the problem. When you see loopholes and things that are messed up in your business, you fix it. The same applies to government elections. So people, if anything, they should investigate it. They should do an audit. They should expose the wrong and then bring in the remedy to that, right? And then give people confidence in our elections again. Because what's going to happen is, if Americans do not have faith in their elections, I promise you that if something goes weird, let's say that Joe Biden gets another 50 billion votes in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning on this next election, a whole bunch of Americans are going to go, I'm done. It's war.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't want that. So let's fix it. Okay. Your job as the government is to maintain stability at all costs. That's what you do. I learned it in civics class in college. Right. So, and again, I probably shouldn't even have went to college. As a poor kid, I grew up and worked my way all the way up through it. So I know the American dream is possible, because I was at the very bottom, broke. I had nothing. My mom was on welfare. She had raised 5 boys, no sisters or whatever. And we had a very, very, very rough life. There's not much that didn't happen to me. Okay. And so being able to go through all that stuff and go to school and, work my way up. And, I did some what they call trade school. And then I went from trade school. I go, maybe I can do college. Maybe I can do that. And then I did it. And then I graduated with a 4.0 and, Dean's List and all that. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree. And then I just kept going, right? Like, you can do that, people. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're white, black, or Asian or anything. Like, I believe in you. I believe that you can make it happen. You can become super successful in America, because that's the system that we have. Capitalism is your vehicle to becoming wealthy. You can do it. You just have to get off your ass and go get it.
You can do it, and you can do it without government helping you and being involved.
If anything, it's actually better. It's way better. Like, you get to make the rules. You get to create a business on anything you want. And if it succeeds or fails, it's up to you.
Yes.
But I'm telling you right now, if you study enough, you will succeed. They have so many books. You have the whole world on this phone in a browser. You can research anything you want. There's stuff on YouTube. I learned how to do crazy stuff on YouTube. I can build a whole cabin by myself. I never used to know how to do that, but now I can. You can do it. It's actually easier. I was so terrified to start my own companies. It was funny. I went out and I was like a month into it. I cut a huge job. I was making $120K a year, $80K in bonuses. I worked my way all the way up the sea level, all the way to the tippy top, man. I was chief marketing officer, all that good stuff. And then I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a huge pay cut over, we're talking a massive pay cut. I basically gave it all and put it all on the table and said, I quit. I'm on my own. I went down to zero, but I worked so hard. I was so determined that in only a few months, I replaced my income.
There you go. It's possible.
You can do it.
It's possible.
You absolutely
It's America.
can do it.
Ben,
America.
where can everybody find the Ben Baker Show?
Oh, yeah. So feel free to just jump on my Instagram. That's my main channel right now until I get censored or kicked off. So, it's just Ben Baker 1776. So it is Ben Baker 1776. It's at. And then also benbakershow.com. It'll probably take you to, a petition right now I've got going to, bring back the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. Right. And also I have another petition out there that's to basically tell everybody, let's stop with this, overtaxation and stuff. And, let's freeze the external payments to other countries until we get out of debt. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be.
It's probably a touchy thing. We probably can't do that completely, but it's a very lofty goal. And, as a business owner, I like to set lofty goals, but yeah, benbakershow.com or Ben Baker 1776 on Instagram. And then
you're on YouTube also, right? You're on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm all on YouTube as well. I actually shut down my Facebook on purpose because I kept getting censored and stuff. And so I just shut it down. It was up, but it's not anymore. I'm not going to be on Facebook's platform. That's a choice of mine. I'm not saying you guys have to do that same thing, but use them all, use all of them. And eventually I might try this Rumble thing out a little bit more. It's a lot more difficult to use Rumble than it is.
It is.
Instagram's just really easy for me to use. And again, I've been censored on there before. So just remember my hashtags, hashtag Ben Baker Show. You'll be able to find me on a lot of stuff, because if they do black me out and I lose all, my followers and all that good stuff again, I call them supporters. I hate the word followers because it just seems too lefty.
Yeah.
But I like to say supporters, but if I lose all my supporters, that's okay. I'll just start another one, keep putting stuff out, keep speaking out, and it'll just pop back up underneath the new one, whatever that may be. I might have 25 Ben Baker Show channels.
Hey, whatever it is, I'm gonna put all your social media, and I'll put the hashtag in the show notes and the show description for everybody to find you. But
absolutely, this has been really fun. This has been really fun for me. I always enjoy these things. I love talking to patriots. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I get a lot of people reaching out every day, and it's always a blessing for me to share my opinion and listen to other people's opinions on what's going on.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you coming on and talking. We talked a lot. We talked about a lot of good stuff, and we'll get it out there. And hopefully people, when they find you and your classes out there on showing people how to start their own show, I really hope we can inspire more patriots out there to get on the podcast platform and start a show and start talking. Doesn't have to be anything extravagant.
Absolutely.
Just get on and start talking, and then they can invite us to be on their shows.
I'd love it. I'll be on all their shows. I want that to happen. I want us all to be on each other's shows and just vent and get this stuff. This is therapeutic to me.
Yes.
This is therapeutic to all of us. 100%. To wake other people up, speak your mind. Remember what America used to be like, where you didn't care about what people thought of you. You didn't care about what people said about you. You just spoke your mind, and you might be called an asshole or whatever, but hey,
call me whatever you want. It doesn't make a difference to me. Call me whatever you want.
Exactly. That's your freedom.
Exactly. Ben, I thanks again for being here and sharing your patriotic opinions based on facts and all that good stuff. So remember, everybody, get over and visit the Ben Baker Show. Everything's going to be in the show notes. You'll be able to get this episode over at the website, thegreatdivide1776.com. Want to, Ben, thanks again for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and most of all, God bless America. You Amen. Take care.